Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Giuseppe Mellone. He is the founder of RiseUp Innovations, a consulting firm dedicated to helping boutique fitness studios unlock their full potential and is known for turning struggling studios into profitable businesses through a combination of marketing, sales strategy, and leadership development. Welcome to the show, Giuseppe.
Thank you for having me on the KJ Masterclass. It's an honor to be here speaking with you today.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe, a lot of fitness studios across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll talk about how one can turn their fitness studio into success. And we'll be learning the success blueprint from you that you are a master of, and that is why you are the master for this particular show. But before we come to this part, Giuseppe, let's understand a bit more about your journey, your background, so that the audience learns more about who they are actually listening to.
Absolutely. So my history starts back in college. Broke college student, needed to make money. Saw a gym. They offered a free membership if you were an employee. So thought it worked out that way. Became part of that community. Became part of the fitness world, and just fell in love with talking with people and realizing that even though I was working the front desk or cleaning the toilets or the showers, I made an impact through conversations in a healthy environment. And from there, I found success in communicating with people, which led to sales, which led to a lot of more members and a lot more growth, and led to my mentors and my superiors to, increase my career growth in the fitness industry. So I've started from the bottom and I've made it all the way to the top. So from the front desk all the way to operating and directing studios, acquisitions, growth, new projects. I've been in the fitness game for over a decade. And in my history, the top boutique brands like Orangetheory Fitness, some big brands like Crunch Fitness, I've operated those locations. And then I've moved on to help, as you said, the boutique studios all over the country, the United States and the world, and giving them advice so that they can make the impact that they want to make the impact in their community while we ensure that they make money and they profit.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Giuseppe, I want to understand one thing. We see a lot of these fitness studios everywhere. Even wherever I see one studio coming up, big boards, all those signs, and few people coming in and out. And then after a few months, it just closes down or it just vanishes. Why is it that these fitness studios struggle? I assume when one is opening a studio like this, they do their own research, they do their market study, they just don't put their money. Nobody will. After all, it's a business. Why is it then that some studios thrive, some studios struggle? Is it some problem somewhere, or is it a bad market that they have entered into?
Well, there are a couple factors, but I would say the two main are intent as to why they're starting their studio. A lot of people look at boutique studios since it's a little bit smaller than your big box. So think of it this way for your audience, right? A big box gym is the gym you walk into, you scan your key tag, and you go on the treadmill, you go on a piece of equipment, you kind of do whatever you want. In the boutique studio world, it's a very one specialized focus, a yoga focus, high interval training focus. So there's a specialization towards it. So with that being said, if the intent of your studio and why you're opening it is to maximize that specialization to help people, you find a lot of those operators are more focused in the business. They're really working on it. They're really trying to drive that mission and make it grow. If the intent is to open a business just to make some money from it and maybe be a silent partner, we've seen that a couple of times, and it becomes very frustrating because fitness is more of a hospitality business than it is just a workout business. So the intent as to why people are opening is a big part of it. And then the other part is a little bit of the research aspect. You could look online all you want of numbers, statistics, how things work, but fitness is forever evolving. And if you are not consistently learning and growing with the fitness changes and trends and how you can be the best support for your members and your clients, which is an everyday approach, you're going to fail, unfortunately. So being a fitness operator is way more active than it is passive. It involves a lot of building. And in our organization, we take our clients through these three phases. And the first one is the foundation phase, part of the blueprint, where we want to make sure that you understand why you're doing this, why you're here. Here's a lot of the risks, but here are a lot of the benefits if you put in the actual work and labor on a consistent basis. So a lot of these studios that open that don't make it maybe for 2-3 years are due to the fact that they're not evolving, they're not growing, and they're not putting the intent of what's needed for the business for it to actually thrive versus assuming, oh, I'm franchising this, the brand's going to do all the work, and I just need to have people coming in and showing up to classes. So those are and there's a few other struggles, but I would say to generalize it for everyone, that's one of the bigger ones where a lot of studio owners struggle and why unfortunately those studios do get shut down. And it's a shame. We want to help people, we want to get people healthier, and people deserve to have the resources. And that means that we need to be, as operators, the best leaders, not just for our teams and our employees, but for the community itself.
Right, right, Giuseppe. But what's the harm in thinking about money? At the end of the day, you want to put some money, you want to get some decent profit out of this. You are not robbing people, you are providing a service. Every hospitality, every business, restaurant, everything is all about getting better returns. Even if you are not greedy, you want some returns. Even franchisees model or an individual model you go, you want some return. How do you then differentiate between, you can't be philanthropic, can you, with this sort of a fitness studio? Or you cannot just think, okay, I will only think of fitness of the people, because as an owner, you need to, pay your bills, you need to pay your pay the salaries. If you don't think of numbers, how will you then actually, even those people who visit a studio, they will continue to look at the numbers, whether they have lost weight or not. And what's your harm in looking at those numbers? So help us understand this mindset part here.
Yeah, so on a more high level look, right? We look at recurring revenue. So we want to build a member base, right? As we grow the member base, we can forecast our growth, the revenue that's driving in, and then from there, we can deploy that revenue to push more into the marketing efforts that we need, sales training efforts. So being in fitness, I think you should be able to make a ton of money in fitness. There's no wrong. It's a business venture. The difference is that it's more about people. And if you're not people centric, if you're not focused on investing in your members, even when you're saying, hey, we have a good about 20% growth profit margin going on right now, we can stay conservative here. If you don't think about taking that money, I would say even 15%, and really putting it into the business to make it even better and stronger, you're losing out of a huge opportunity, especially in the franchise game where it's all about acquisitions. Previously in my career, I was fortunate enough to be one of the largest ownership groups for Orangetheory Fitness. They had over about 140 locations, but they started off with 3. And so the way that leadership group did such a great job in building it was through investing in the business on a consistent basis. And especially during the pandemic when things were low, because our group was so focused on investing in people, we were able to come out to the other side of that and really build a lot of growth, take over some studios that were underperforming because of that. Again, goes back to the intent. So as an owner, in terms of bringing in money for your own pocket, you have to really think service-based first. It's even one of the blueprints that I teach to my clients is service-based selling, where we focus on making sure that we're delivering double the ROI. So if the membership is $300 a month, we want our clients to feel like they're getting a $600 a month experience and they're getting a deal for only paying $300. That takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of manpower and it takes a lot of leadership to lead those people in delivering that great experience, which ultimately leads to great profits. And then the marketing takes care of itself, right? If members are enjoying it, they're having a great time, They go back to work and they say, oh, I love this studio. It was amazing. It was great. They bring in business and it all comes full circle.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, when is the best time for you to come in into any fitness studio business? Is it as soon as they have planned it, they are about to start, or is it when things are not working and when they have gotten to this struggling situation?
Yeah, I love working with studios that the operator is very passionate about what they're doing and they want to help more. They just don't have enough experience in the business. A lot of these boutique brands, especially these more private ones that are not necessarily franchised, they have a passion of helping people. Maybe they became a trainer and they're building a great training book and they realize maybe I should open up my own gym. But then the struggle is they're training all the clients, but they're not managing the back end of the business, and then they don't know where to go, they don't know how to hire, they don't know how to bring anybody into the business. So I love going in there in those studios, seeing their love for their craft, and then building a foundation. Like I said, that's one of the blueprints. The first thing we start with is just foundational principles of these are the things that are going to help build the environment around you so that you can keep doing what you're doing, and then eventually we get to the more sustainable action, or the scaling action, sorry, no, the sustainable action, where we are recruiting people and building. So I love working with my favorite type of clients are the ones who are super passionate about what they're doing. They just don't understand the business side of things. So I get to be someone there right next to them, helping them each step so that they don't make a mistake that costs them so much money and time. And then they can eventually grow that sustainable business and then scale it to wherever they want to go.
Right, right. You have this magnetic marketing blueprint. Tell us a bit about that so that not everyone will be able to take your help, your coaching, your Rise Up Innovations sort of thing. So people who may listen to this, blueprint of yours, they will be able to benefit, in any part of the world.
Absolutely. And for those who are watching this and are interested to actually see the blueprint, if you would message me on Instagram, you just do KJ dash magnet we'll do to make it easier. I'll send you the magnetic blueprint, marketing blueprint. But essentially, it is a format for posting on social media that generates eyes and lead nurture. Social media is perceived, especially on Instagram and TikTok, as this lead generating tool, which I disagree with. It's a lead nurturing tool, meaning the people who are following you already kind of like you, they're interested, but now you're trying to give value. And the value you need to give, especially in today's day, as trust has just diminished over time with different, advertisements and posts, we want to give advanced results before anyone comes into our studio. So the magnetic marketing blueprint is a templated design to make sure that no matter what you're posting, if you follow these steps, you're going to gain followers, you're going to have comments on your posts and generate a really good brand awareness for your studio that helps it grow. So the magnetic marketing blueprint is essential as you're growing your business through these different social platforms and utilizing each step. And I mean, the first step of it, many people may know this, maybe they don't, but the first 3 seconds of your content is the most important seconds of anything that you post. If you don't have a 90% retention rate of someone looking at the first 3 seconds, what you're posting is not working. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't look at those numbers. So the blueprint's going to give you that information of what to look for so that you can eventually cater your posts and then build posts that you don't feel like, oh, I have to just post this today. It's something that has intent. And that's a big theme. You keep hearing me say that. Intent is super important with every action we take.
Absolutely. And you also talk of, one uh, most impactful strategy. Is that the impactful strategy that you talked about, or is it some other most impactful strategy is something else?
The most impactful strategy all depends on where you are as an operator in your studio. So you could have the best brand in the world, right? And being in a franchise, and marketing may not be an issue because brand awareness works, right? If someone sees your location, they know it from a franchise, there's more of a chance that this brand trusts there. So it all depends on where you're at. Other situations are, we'll take that same example of a brand that's really big and that's bringing in business. I teach something called the sales by service method, where we're having a problem converting those people coming into the location. They say, oh, I love this. I've heard this so much. I heard this celebrity come to this studio, and then the team in the studio does a really poor job of executing the sale. Maybe it's due to lack of training, maybe it's due to inexperience. A lot of people in the boutique industry, especially the front lines, are younger workers in the game. So they don't have as much sales experience. They don't have that idea of how to communicate and build relationships quite yet. So a lot of the operators need to spend time training. And so my sales by service method, and this is something I teach my clients, really helps give the tools to their teams so that they don't feel like they're necessarily selling, right? Sales tends to have a very nasty connotation, like the car salesman. And I'm looking to destroy that as someone who is a top sales operator for a lot of these boutique studios. I never felt like I was selling somebody. I felt like I was making a connection where they have a problem, we have a solution, this is how we solve it. And if this is something that they feel fits what they want to do, it works out great. And so, again, to just answer your question, there is no one answer. It all depends on the situation that's going on. Some teams are great at closing, they just can't get anybody into the door, right? So it all depends on where you're at, where things are going, and then where we can implement.
Right, right, Giuseppe. So, which one works? What is the way people come to the studio? Is it for the looks, how they feel? Is it for the trainers? Is it for the final result? What works best in terms of a fitness studio?
Yeah, that's a great question. You have to look at your demographic. So I'm based out of New York City. Okay. A lot of people in New York City are looking for trends and trying different things. And the way that you can create great client acquisition is by delivering such an exceptional class, an experience that when people walk away, they go, wow, that was so much fun. Even though I worked out and I'm drenched in sweat and I'm tired, and this is probably the hardest thing I've done in a long time, I love the coach. I love the member experience. They handed me a towel. Things were great, right? So member experience is super key. However, a lot of the studios that I've operated in my career were in very remote areas where it wasn't a big city. It was the middle of nowhere, farmland. And those members love community. So again, it goes back to the experience, but then people coming in from their office going to work out, they get a little bit of a break and they can just be themselves for an hour. And people love that, especially during the pandemic when everyone was isolated, in their homes, to have a place that they can come in, communicate, talk, and be themselves and not their job title or not their professional self is super important because fitness is also a mental focus, right? It's not just about the body. So in America, especially, there's big advertisements. We have a huge health crisis going on with weight, food consumption. We're not exercising as much as we need to. And so a lot of people always look at, oh, I'm a little bit, need to lose a little bit of weight. But, there's also people that are looking to just be healthier. And part of that
Right.
is the right environment. So every demographic is different, but I would say member experience is crucial for what people are looking for, and then the results. People don't care about how they get it, they care about if they're going to get it or not. So you can explain all the features you got this cool technology, this awesome treadmill, but I want to know, am I going to get what I'm supposed to be getting, right? And if you can deliver that every time, it's really hard for people to leave.
Absolutely. And which model works? The franchise model that works better, or one should go and build, around their own personality, around some theme, an independent thing which you can, which you will own fully.
Yeah, it depends on your end game goal, right? I'm a big believer that you got to think about the end of where you want to finish before you start, because that's going to drive the whole projection of your business. And obviously, things change throughout time and how things move. But to answer your question a little more simply, franchising is going to be easier on a marketing scale, right? People know the brand, there's brand awareness, and people are going to be more interested in coming in. That's why you can flood paid advertising and get results through it, right? Versus if you're a private brand, no one knows who you are. There's a little lack of trust. At the same time, there is a studio I worked with in New Jersey, private brand, but they have implemented the strategies we put in and they have scaled up. They grew their revenue by 72% in just 30 days from adding some of these little things that we needed to add in their foundation to really grow. So if your goal is I want to own a bunch of locations all over the world and I want to have the smoothest way of doing it, franchising is going to be the way to go. But if you have a mission, maybe you have a method, something that you want to teach that's not out there that people want to experience, then having your own studio is okay too. I like to compare it to music. I'm a big musician and I love playing music. You go see a cover band of your favorite band, you know the songs that are going to be there. It may not be the singer that you know who originally does it, but you know that you're going to get those songs versus another band that you've never heard of. You're going to be like, do I really want to go see them? I don't know, unless it's at your favorite bar that you want to go to and sit there and then you can listen. And then hopefully you get people built from there and then your reputation grows. So smoother kind of trails with the marketing helping you out. You're going to have franchising. You're going to be able to scale faster. But I really do believe if you have a method that really is going to help everybody in your community, you can also maximize that to scale as well.
Wonderful. There is much to learn about these things from you, Giuseppe, and I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of these fitness studio owners, especially those struggling, would like to connect with you. And so, for those people who would like to, be a part of your RiseUp Innovations and take your help, want to learn more about you, want to learn about the basics, or the fineness of about all this business. What's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me will be Instagram. It's my first name dot a dot my last name. Message me. I'm always talking on there. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm very active on there as well. And then if you just message me, hey, I'm asking some questions. I'm not going to be that person who turns you away or makes it into a whole sales deal. I want to make sure that we can help you first. And a lot of people who do come to me, the problems are not as big as they think it is. And it's something that we can solve in a conversation. So I'm happy to chat with you and we get that done. I want to help people who are in a place where they kind of built everything that they needed to build and now they just don't know what to do, because that's where I know I can maximize their profitability and that's where I know that their investment with me is worth it versus, hey, I don't know how to do this. Well, are you marketing? Kind of. Well, there's your problem. If you start doing that, you don't need to pay me. Just do that and you'll see business grow. So anyone who wants to connect with me, LinkedIn and Instagram are two of the best social formats to communicate with me.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you. This is great.